Hey guys, welcome back to the finale of Phoenix Wright, Trials and Turnabouts, Bridge to the Turnabout, as well as the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy. This has been a long time coming, and we're finally at the finale. Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the test we had performed earlier. Test? Yes, test. On the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree.
Oh, yeah, that. I totally forgot about that.
That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim.
So, what are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or...?
Due to the time constraints, a full test wasn't possible, however. There's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood. That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial. Wait, okay. Like, we're gonna figure, like... I'm trying to remember now, because I remember having this entire conversation previously where I think it was something involving, like... There's only been so much that you can get, like, more than likely they probably just compared it to what they had for the victim. But, like, usually you can get, like, a blood type or something like that. So that's probably it. Damn it, I keep thinking blood and DNA, and I keep getting them mixed up, because DNA, I believe, is the one with the familiarity. I don't think blood type is. I could, again, I'm a little bit rusty on that. I haven't written anything that was, like, a proper crime scene, so I haven't... My knowledge on, like, crime scene and, like, forensics is a little bit iffy.
So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. And whose was it?
The thing is, I still love the theory of supervillain Larry. But the bridge was on fire when he woke up. So it couldn't be him. So now it's just a matter of who else was there. I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Don't say that! Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims.
I understand, Your Honor.
From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So let's finish this quickly.
Agreed.
Oh no, don't say quickly! We have to wrap so much stuff up. Very well, please bring in the last witness. Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Co. Law Offices.
Maya.
According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium with a crane channeling technique. I'm frightened. The Fey clan. I don't want any more to do with it.
Oh, Maya. The pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable.
Very well. Now then, Miss Fey. When the event occurred, you were in the garden of the Inner Temple. And you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Deauxnim's murder. Is this correct? I didn't see any.
Straighten up this instant, young lady.
Huh?
Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later.
But
Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you could do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witness come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen?
Witness, if you please.
Yes, Your Honor. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" Then something warm splashed over my face. That's when I lost consciousness.
So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been the staff. Maya, the person who hit you. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was.
Maya, think hard.
Sorry, Nick, I really couldn't.
Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. It seems that it'll be hard to determine a criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination. Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. She's traumatized, Phoenix! Okay. Okay. I don't think we have it. But there was that whole... Oh, wait, that was the garden, I think. That, like, second room. I'm trying to think what we have. No, not that one. Because there was nothing that stood out in it. I don't think that's... I think this is the biggest thing we have. Let's press that real quick. What happened afterwards?
My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape, I think.
You think?
After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There were only two things rolling around in my mind at the time.
Well now, this is beginning to get interesting. So what were the two things rolling around in your mind? If one of them isn't food, I'm going to claim that this is Dahlia still.
My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason, I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was.
That's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable given the circumstances. So, what did you do then? Wait. This wasn't... Okay, so this was Maya. You think you screamed, but you're not sure?
Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits.
Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes.
I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that it was my last hope.
Well, sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do I do? Do I press her for more details? Wait a minute, Maya. What is this my last hope stuff?
What? What do you mean by your last hope?
No. That's not what you said. You said my last hope.
Huh? What? I said what?
Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see, and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me."
Yeah.
And you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope.
Oh, well, you know, that's like, what do you call it when that happens?
Maya's not doing so well up there.
Oh, yeah, Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at.
What did you just say?
Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help.
What is it now? messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out.
Huh?
Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person. I am. Well, I meant to keep that part a secret. What have I done?
It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say.
Ton of pressure.
You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber.
Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony. Wait, hold on. But the stone lantern wasn't lit. I want to press that real quick.
A man? Who was this man?
Well, you see, I couldn't see.
You couldn't see? She used this excuse twice now.
Well, you know, lantern light isn't very bright.
Lantern light, did you say?
There's a great big stone lantern in the garden. I always light it when an acolyte is there for training. Hey, you know what they say, under the lantern darkness reigns. So I could see the person that was further away, but not my attacker, who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time. The lantern wasn't lit that night, though.
Objection!
So there was a man standing behind your attacker.
Yeah.
That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Deauxnim, otherwise known as Misty Fey, your mother.
Killer?
Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you?
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
To be frank, Your Honor, I think she's in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed a huge problem with her testimony.
Huh? What do you mean? What problem?
Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission.
Huh? What?
It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night.
No! Order in the court. Mr. Godot, explain this.
Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe au lait.
Cafe au lait? Is that even legal?
Mr. Trite's words are the milk and you are the spoon, Your Honor.
I'm a spoon? I'm no Spoony Bardov, you...
You must have noticed it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that.
Objection!
Sorry, but that's not going to cut it. What did you say? If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony.
Nick!
May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker. And she quite clearly described him as a man. In other words, that would have to have mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person. Despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker.
No! Order! What in the world does all this mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Fey saw the real killer under pitch black conditions?
Objection!
Trite, you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene.
Objection!
There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now,
You're trying to cover for him. Wait! Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did Godot kill Elise? Is that what this is? Is that what we're hitting at? Because you would have been able to see the mask. Oh my god. Is that what we're hitting at? Is that what we're doing right now? Am I cooking too close to the sun? I don't know. Cover? For the man that killed her mother? There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please. I'm begging you.
You talk a good game, Troy. Let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see?
I'm calling your bluff.
No, Nick, don't. Please, stop.
Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. Alright, Mr. Wright, it's time to show us what you've got. Who was the person? Is it Godot? Am I right on this? We're gonna go with my gut. Okay? We're gonna go with my gut. Because the thing is, okay. Dahlia was in Maya's body. Elise was probably trying to kill or get Dahlia out, or maybe even just kill her. We have Morgan, but Morgan's in solitary. Edgeworth wasn't even in the country. Francesca wasn't in the country. We could have Larry, but Larry was on the other side of the bridge. There are two different options. I just realized. I'm like staring at this now. There are two different options we have. Iris was on the other side. Elise is dead. Sister Bikini was on the other side. You weren't even there. We have Godot and we have Pearl. Those are the only two that I can think of. Because Pearl was over on the other side. I personally really want to say it's Godot because that's why she would have seen the mask. But if Pearl is able to become some... But the thing is like... I'm now unsure because I'm like, if Pearl changed into someone, but then Maya would have to recognize them. Because I'm wondering if, like, Mia had told Maya who Godot really is. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting at. I don't think it's Pearl. I think she was just over there, but I don't think that she had anything to do with it.
Take that!
I'm gonna go with my gut. Because it was pitch black, Miss Fey was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show us something like that? It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Also, the one thing that I'm, like, realizing now... Oh, wait, shoot, I was gonna say you had moonlight, but then it was snowing the entire time. I forgot about that. I was like, wait, wasn't there moonlight? It doesn't matter, because it was snowing. Wait, but if she was killed around the... No, wait, she was killed before. She was killed, like, right before the bridge caught on fire. Okay. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions?
Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off.
But it can't be.
That was a nice bit of deduction. Trite. Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder.
Order! Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it?
Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person.
What do you mean by that?
If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights?
Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong. I never saw that.
Maya.
I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man. For a totally different reason.
What?
Objection!
I completely missed that line. Stop your chattering, Your Honor.
I glance away, and it's one of those lines in which it's we're just gonna autoplay it. Lovely. Chattering?
If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules.
All right. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit and the body was gone. And all of the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor, no need to apologize. It's, as Mr. Godot said, you're utterly exhausted. Which is why are we having her, testify and all of that? When it's oh, okay, she should probably, be consulting with, a therapist or something. But, no, let's put her on trial. Okay. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. But it honestly, it depends on how long Maya was out. If Maya has any idea of how long she was out, that could very much determine, because, as someone who is, not... it's come on! Don't be, totally sexist. But it's, you also have to think, the pendulum. I guess you kind of just... I don't know. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. Wait. Hold on. We could get this answer right now. Compare the blood on the knife. I just had a thought. I don't know if this is what we'll end up doing. But also, someone said this. That this was the murder weapon. So one check for prints, but that's not important. Because this doesn't match the victim, couldn't we just run this against not only Maya, but also Godot? Do we have a picture of the... No, we don't. Okay. I was lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place changed. Torches were lit. The body was gone.
The torches were lit?
Yes, that's how I noticed the whole scene had changed.
I'm going to say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be?
The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible doing cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go through the effort of moving the body?
That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya.
Very well, let me hear some more about the conditions of the crime scene. We don't have any pictures of it. But then you're also running into the situation that, like, whoever it was working in aspects with Iris.
So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right?
Yes, I think. I think it happened when the victim was stabbed.
So then the person that carried you into the inner temple
Could only have been the killer. That's what I think too.
So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right?
Yes, I think so.
Why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide.
I don't know.
Looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did really look odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural-looking rectangle shape around the lantern.
There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple. But they were all really heavy. Way too heavy for me to use. What sort of shovel is... Oh. I mean, I understand, like, the snow being, like, super packed. Where, like... Oh, okay, that makes it difficult to move it, but not the shovel itself. Not fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away?
Well, there's one thing I could think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow?
Yeah. The area I collapsed in ended up being splattered.
In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation.
Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. The killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it. There was no need to remove that amount.
That's true. Could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood.
Looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue, but I think this will help explain them.
So, you're saying that you never saw the killer, right?
Yes.
But earlier you very clearly stated you saw a man behind your attacker.
Nick, I'm sorry.
The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble, moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. For what purpose? Why do all that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. Okay.
The issue I have is at some point, like, she came to. Okay, so there's a good chance that this blood is Maya's. This is potentially Godot. this is also Maya's blood. Wait, and if he's cleaning up the blood, why leave Maya's blood? Hold on, let me rerun this. Okay. Okay, what I'm thinking is, if he wanted to clean up the blood, there was still blood on the stone lantern. Am I swear, I'm always like, am I like wrong in this assessment? Like, I'm never sure. Hold on. Okay, I think we can press this, because we pressed this one, we pressed that one, and now we have to come back here, I think. Naturally, the killer must have done it. I think so. Why would the killer tamper with the crime scene? There must have been something the killer wanted to hide. The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something.
You did?
Yes. I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me. For my sake. What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. Even Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden.
She may have thought that you had done it.
No, she definitely would have thought so.
And you're saying that's why the killer
cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened? Yes, I'm sure of it.
Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor.
They did it for your sake?
Well, if the body and blood hadn't been removed, I would have immediately been the prime suspect, right?
Yes, I suppose that's true. Yeah, and if that happened, the body would have caused some other problems too. If her real identity come out right then, it would have been terrible. Master of Kurain killed by your own daughter. I don't think Maya would have been able to handle it.
But still, it's rather difficult to fathom the killer's motives. What reason is there to go through that much trouble to protect you? But he didn't clean it all up, because the stone lantern.
Objection!
The body of Elise Deauxnim was carried all the way back to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then, at the garden, the real scene of the crime. The snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe that this was all done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd.
Oh, and what would that be?
You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern.
This is more evidence it's Godot because Godot didn't see it.
Oh my god! Sorry, I'm also like cupping my mouth, so if that sounded really weird because I'm like, I think I might peek the mic. Oh my god! It was Godot. Because he did not even realize that there was anything on it. Oh. I'm still contemplating. I think this one might be my favorite case. I think there's just so much in it that is just absolutely kind of like insane. And I'm just absolutely just loving it. And I'm like, I don't want this to end. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing off the lantern? Ah, you're right. Order, 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 but Mr. Wright. Isn't it the fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene?
If he couldn't tell it was there, it was Godot.
Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing.
Objection!
But if that's the case, we have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior.
It's because he couldn't see it.
Why would this killer move this body and remove all that snow, then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it.
Because he didn't see that it was there. No. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in the blood on the lantern?
Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it.
But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that.
You're right. There is no way any normal person would. Oh my gosh.
What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright?
There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether.
And who would that be?
It was the witness that could have failed to notice the bloody writing. Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything.
You can't see everything. Is that correct, Mr. Godot?
This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented.
This lantern! There's something written on it. Why? It's written in blood.
Nonsense. This lantern is as clean as a whistle. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct?
Wait. If he's colorblind, it still would show, like, it would be brown. Like, is that what we're hitting at? Is that, like, theoretically, like, Diego Armando's colorblind? But it's never seemed like he, like, his, like, outfits are, like, that off. Like, they look well put together. Or is it just he doesn't see red anymore? He doesn't... Okay, so Diego Armando wore the red shirt. Now that we have, like, this teal shirt, like, it kind of has that, like, juxtaposition of, like, the color spectrum. I'm wondering if that's what it is. He thinks it's the same color that he, like, I guess used to wear before he died, I guess? But, like, everything else is the same. I just kind of assumed it was, like, a younger brother thing at first, and then I was like, no, we're definitely hitting, like, a... He came back from the dead. But, like, does dying wouldn't, like, cause you to go colorblind, though?
You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case at Tribulations. This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on.
I did not pick up on that! I didn't pick up on the fact that he didn't recognize the blood on it. I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my shit a lot with this. There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court?
Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be?
Don't play games, prosecutor. The bloodstain colored stain that's smeared all over the apron.
It's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain.
I completely forgot about that.
You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup. Because it was red. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would appear black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them?
So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern?
Hey, Gramps. Didn't you know that the reason why I don't drink red tea...
Does red tea exist? Like, you have some that's like, has that like reddish hue, but it's not necessarily red. I'm getting cold, sorry.
I wasn't sure about it up until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer. But there's no going back now. I've finally figured out the truth. But we have no motive. Also, too, I wonder if we're gonna play the whole, but we're dead so you can't do anything about it. The same shit Dahlia was pulling. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Miss Elise Deauxnim, also known as Miss Misty Fey.
It's hard to believe this may be true, however. Once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you.
Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in writing, Gramps. Come on. That is a little graffiti make me into the killer. Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there.
Objection!
I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. This is rich. Do go on, trite. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow?
The snow? How so?
Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If he wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area?
Yes, why didn't he just take out that area? Could it be?
Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow, and so he had to remove all of the snow. Couldn't be sure of where the blood landed, so he removed the whole area.
Objection!
Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine.
It seems. Once again, this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot? Wait just a minute!
Maya!
What is it, witness? Mr. Godot isn't the killer! After all, he didn't even come to the Inner Temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after that old bridge got fixed up.
Objection!
Maya. You can't testify to something like that.
What? What do you mean? I may not look it, but I'm...
After the murder happened, you didn't even exist.
She didn't? I'm afraid I don't follow.
Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh, that's right. Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me.
Maya, you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Nicely done, Trite.
Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please, tell us what happened at the Inner Temple after the murder. Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling, and my spirit left me, as it were. But little Pearlie was there at the inner temple too. You are not going to throw a 9-year-old child under the bus, Maya. I swear to God. Pearlie was also stuck on the inner temple side that night. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up.
Girl, please.
Who is this Pearlie? That's my little cousin, Pearl Fey.
So when did you hear about this?
Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office.
Terribly sorry, but what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony.
What? Come on! Pearlie would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be.
Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath. The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness. Mr. Godot! Well, let's just move on to the cross-examination. If the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual, but, well, Mr. Wright. Let's get this cross-examination started.
Oh my gosh, I think, God, here's the thing. I did like the idea of us representing someone who is, like, the actual killer. But I think, like, this is just wrapping up so much stuff, and it's just super intriguing. I'm so conflicted. Pearlie was also stuck at the inner temple. Next morning, couldn't find anyone. When the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the prep room.
That was the next day. That wasn't 2 days after. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge.
What do you mean?
I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge.
Oh, well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night. She couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times.
Or a little girl, all alone like that. Well, we know she had at least one friend in the sacred cavern. Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with the trick lock. She couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed? So it was your first time on the inner temple side, Mr. Godot? That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question?
Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness.
What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor.
Touche, Mr. Wright. Oh, well. What do you have to say, Mr. Godot?
Hot nights and even hotter coffee. And that's what I always say. If it hadn't been for this case, I never would have visited there.
Oh, wait, no, he didn't have anything to do with that one. That was Edward. Oops. Wait, I mean, wait.
Raising Cold Temple in the mountains? I think I'll pass. So we had never visited Hazakura Temple or the Inner Temple, huh? You want to say something, Trite? In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examine Maya, that is.
Very well, please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policeman gave him over to the Inner Temple side, right? Yes, and then, Mr. Godot... Wasn't he, like, super awkward around Pearl or something like that? Or am I thinking Francesca? I don't remember now. I love how I remember... Oh my gosh, I remember this thing from this one, but it's like the investigation. I don't remember shit.
He cheered her up.
That's what Pearlie said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot.
And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. Cut it out. You're making me blush. I love Godot. This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves. The truth is, there aren't that many places to look on the inner temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-tooth combs. So I decided to carry on the investigation my own way, Godot style.
I'm the same way. I like to hand down verdicts my own way, judge style.
Maybe I should ask some questions.
Phoenix, no. No. We're ending it now.
You said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything?
It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Wright. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern.
Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Coggles.
The one odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall.
Why? Don't hit on your dead girlfriend's younger sister.
Beauty.
Oh, okay. Now, wait, no, he didn't because it was covered in gravy. It was covered in gravy.
Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aromas of Western tastes.
Western taste. Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy?
He wouldn't have been able to see it though, unless he had been there before. He wouldn't have known that it was Misty behind the gravy. See, from there you headed for the prep room.
Wait a sec. What did Godot just say now? I think I just found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? Must have already been at the inner temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise Deauxnim.
I mean, I was focused on the fact that he wouldn't have known it was Misty Fey. Like, you can't really see that it's her. Because Pearl was like,
You take gravy and you put it on someone, and that's how you send them to hell.
Okay, let's push both of these. So, where did you think Pearl slept that night?
in the spare prep room next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training. And even so, why did she go to the inner temple in the first place?
Seems that Pearl became very worried about Maya.
And also she had to throw gravy on people to send them to hell. She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense.
Pearl was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the inner temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise Deauxnim.
Why was she over there in the first place? Also, why did Misty summon her? Because, like, you have to be, I don't think, like, Dahlia is, like, necessarily strong enough to be able to inhibit whoever's body. So why did Misty summon Dahlia, though? That's my question.
She searched the entire inner temple side end to end.
Well, you see, Pearl gets pretty scared when she's alone. And there weren't that many places to look. She says that she even went back and forth several times.
The inner temple side has two structures, the training hall and a spare prep room.
There's also a storage shack, I think. That's about it.
There was a storage shack too? Pearls was looking for other people, right? And she really examined the storage shack all that carefully.
Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I would investigate. So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack. We don't have anything to press or present. Other than the fact that, like, we bring up... We don't really have anything we can press, though, or present. Like, what I'm thinking, it's in the stuff that is said, but it's not in any of this. Because, like, the entire thing of, oh, she was there because she was scared, but we also know this. We also have the information that he wouldn't have known that this was Misty Fey unless either A, someone told him, but he knew too much about it. You wouldn't have been able to see it unless you had already been there prior. but it's not in this. Okay, so we had to have the knowledge of Godot talking about Misty Scroll, and okay, that makes sense.
Objection!
Mr. Godot, the first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the Inner Temple was long before the murder took place.
I mean, technically, he could have been there with Mia investigating, because they also had the whole, shoot, what was his name? The one that died in court. I don't remember his name. Halls. Terry Halls. There we go. Oh my god. But, like, I don't know how much they would have... Because, like, there was also, like, a part of the bridge that was missing. I'm just speaking theoretically. But then that would also, like, give him away of, like, Godot being separate from Diego Armando.
But why do you say that?
Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall?
Hanging scroll? But Mr. Godot is right. The scroll shows a picture of my mother.
Maya, I know you know who it is, but there's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this.
That's a wonderfully delicious smell. We showed a photo. We didn't bring the scroll.
The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy.
Gravy? But why gravy, Nick?
Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have any way of knowing it was Misty Fey.
More importantly, knowing what she was wearing. Wait a minute, Nick!
Yes?
Take another look at that hanging scroll. Look, at the top. There's a crest there.
That. It's the mark of the master, correct?
Exactly. So, if you know the meaning of the mark, then you could guess that it was a picture of Misty Fey on there. I mean, I'm sure there are probably other previous, like, masters of the Korean channeling technique, and they could have just left those up. And I guess it's also probably one of those things where it's like, you know, you don't keep the old stuff up. But again, he wouldn't have known what she was wearing.
True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this.
Clad in her
Stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western taste. I feel about doing the Phoenix Wright voice, then trying to reenact Godot. I'm like, ah.
Oh.
Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known when she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the Inner Temple long before the crime took place.
Can I ask you just one little thing, Wright?
What is it?
This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption that I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed.
That's right. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak onto the crime scene.
Of course Mr. Godot knew about the plan.
Huh? What did you say? Is it really possible that another person knew of that plan? And opened once before. But when did he get this?
This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fey authored the plan for her daughter's future. And these instructions were hidden somewhere in the Fey Manor for a year. However, by the time little Pearls found these instructions, they had already been unsealed.
Unsealed?
Yes. The killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. And that's how he knew the crime was to take place at the Inner Temple.
And you still insist this crafty killer is me?
You bet I do.
But you just said that the instructions were hidden.
That's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden.
If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out.
Yes, when was that?
During a visit.
A visit?
Morgan Fey told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden during one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden.
Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center. Wait! Have we been setting this up from the beginning with that one security guard in the back that I don't remember his face at all? Has that been Godot the entire time?
Yes, it could be arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, oh.
But he's been a prosecutor for like 20 minutes.
Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot.
Order! 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 Mr. Godot, you're under fire again.
This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you were the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder.
Humans are afraid of the dark. And yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee.
Wait, I'm not even kidding. I could 100% see someone saying this. Godot is a ghoul from Tokyo Ghoul? I just realized I was like, all he does is drink coffee. That was like the only thing that like the ghouls in Tokyo Ghoul could like stomach, like food-wise. So that they just drank a shit ton of coffee. Like they drank coffee and then like ate humans, I think. I think that's what they did. It's been a while since I've read it. I'm just now realizing Godot was a ghoul confirmed.
Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean?
It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plan, he hid in the inner temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness?
That's right.
If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her.
Also, too, the other thing is he would have had to have worked with Iris. Like, that setup would have had to have happened. Because she was there to collect the body in Plan B. Because she had said something about someone calling her.
I am what you see. I am certainly not the type to rescue the damsel in distress.
Huh. The killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect his witness's life, his behavior is still a little too unnatural.
Objection!
However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs.
I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick?
Maya, I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. The same reason, huh?
Okay, Wright, I'm all ears. Let's hear it.
It's a very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you.
What's this?
There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably. Inextricably. There's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she's Mia Fey's only sister.
Mia Fey?
You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney.
Wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney.
With your honor's piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot. His real name